This is part 2 of my German trip vlog where I solve this 3x3 in as many locations as I possibly can. This trip is for sport, for seeing friends, and for a cubing competition, so hope you enjoy. If you haven't seen the first part, please check it out. But for summary, at the end I was visiting France to see some friends in a town near the mountains called Oyonnax. Back to the story. The main reason we travelled so far to France was to see some friends, but it was really cold. Due to the high altitude of Oyonnax, in the morning it was 0 degrees where my friends and I were walking around for about an hour. Even our rental car's windows were completely frosted. After saying goodbye to these friends, my hands felt much like ice. It's impossible to explain in words how cold it was, especially when trying to solve cubes, but this is what I have to say.
Yeah, I'm just exploring this random town in France. It is really cold, it's like 0 degrees, and my hands, they're really cold. What better thing it is to do than try and solve a cube? My hands are so cold. This is crazy. Is this bench wet? Oh my god, that bench is like icy. Oh, this is bad. Can I sit here? Alright, I'm gonna change to my GoPro. This is so not pleasant. Oh no. That wasn't that bad. Oh, let's just do some PLLs. Yeah, my turning speed is so slow.
Besides the cold, I jumped in the car and off we went back to Germany to a new town. The trip through the mountains to get out of the area was really foggy. It was very scenic as well, and most importantly, still really cold. Luckily, we stayed in the car, which was nice and warm. And on the drive, something amazing happened. Europe had been really cloudy the entire trip, and we hadn't seen a blue sky for the entire time. But for some reason, while driving, we literally saw all the fog and clouds disappear and turn into a sunny blue sky. It was really weird and surprising, yet stunning to finally see the sunshine for the first time in around a week. This transition happened in the span of like 30 seconds, so I don't exactly know what happened.
Oh my god, it's so clear. But all of a sudden the fog just disappeared.
Anyway, the rest of the drive was pretty normal. We even drove through Luxembourg, fully because it was the fastest route. And of course, a new country means another 3x3 solve, this time in a random car park at a random service station in the pitch black. Solve 10 finished with a 25.92. After a 7-hour drive throughout the day, it was completely dark when we arrived at our accommodation, actually our final accommodation, in the town of Langenfield, Germany. And of course, I tried doing a room tour. My enthusiasm was okay, to say the least. Apartment tour again. This is the apartment. It's not as big as the apartment in the previous town, but it's better than the one in France, so let's have a look. This is the hallway. We've got a fire extinguisher there. Obviously we've got our kitchen here, fully equipped with an oven and a bunch of utensils. We've got stuff like cutlery there, and then some pots and pans there. Don't know what this is. This is just random stuff. That's the fridge. And that's a microwave. The bathroom. Pretty standard stuff. Shower, sink, toilet. This, gives me deja vu to the last room tour. Closet. I don't know what that is. Yeah, I really don't know what that is. It's kind of locked. And this is the main room. Bed, shelves, some random storage stuff. Oh, and some just random stuff. Pretty spacious, pretty cozy. I think it's a good place. And all of a sudden, with the magic of editing, it's daytime again. This area was much more commercialized and there were many factories around. You can immediately tell that the environment is much less peaceful and very different to Göppingen. As we drove to the competition venue for some training, there were factories everywhere, all emitting some kind of chemical probably. This place was definitely not as nice as the previous places on this trip, but it was still nice to explore a different part of Germany. Oh, and this area was built right around the Rhine River, making it at least a bit scenic. The Langenfield segment of this trip was pretty uneventful. We visited a supermarket to buy some groceries, visited a coin laundry to wash some clothes, and drove around the place. We even visited Düsseldorf, a neighbouring city, which is kinda cool I guess. When we got back, I did my next 3x3 solve. Happily, I finished with an 18.76, the best solve so far. And at a part of the route to the sporting competition, the road in this town was actually the worst thing I have ever seen. See for yourself. Now, I have been practicing a lot, I mean a lot, when at Langenfield. Here's a 3x3 average I did. And a 2x2 average. And of course a one-hand average. I even practiced 4x4, which is not one of my favorite events, but still wanted to get some practice in before the competition. And then, it's cubing competition day. I had to wake up at 4 AM as the competition was quite a long drive away. And when I say drive, I mean a drive in the complete dark with absolutely no scenery and a bunch of angry cars everywhere. Now, I didn't really want to show you the entirety of the competition, as that's not the point of this video, but I'll give you some highlights. 3x3 round 1, I broke my PR average with a 22.85. 4x4 round 1, I didn't make cutoff, but I still broke my PR single with a 145. I used to be trash at one hand, but this was the first time I actually practiced it, giving me a PR single of 39.06 and a PR average of 43.70. Still horrible, but at least improvement. And then 2x2 round 1, my most anticipated and practiced event. Now my goal was a sub 5 average, which I completely failed at through counting a 9-second solve after a DNF. However, on the last solve, I got an amazing PR single of 3.17 seconds, which I am really happy about. The round 2s were pretty good too. I beat my PR average again for 3x3 with a 20.75, overall beating my PR average by 5 seconds this competition. I beat both my PR single and PR average again for one hand with a 38.46 and a 41.57 respectively. And then 2x2. I failed miserably again. Okay, let's move on. It was super cool to visit a cubing competition internationally and see the differences in the format, the people, and the overall atmosphere. We had dinner at this amazing town besides the venue, and again, it was surreal to be dropped in a small, cozy European village. This one was again beautiful. After that, we drove back to Langenfield for the final sleep in Germany. One of the biggest highlights for me of this trip was seeing the really funny town names. My personal favourite were Bad Kammerg, Bad Honnef. Sorry for the horrible pronunciation to any German viewers. On the final day of Germany, we decided to drive up to the Netherlands. Why? I wanted to visit a town with another silly name, one that started with an apostrophe. The drive was around 2 hours long, and please welcome apostrophe s-Hertogenbosch. I have zero clue how to pronounce the apostrophe s. Maybe it's s-Hertogenbosch?
S-Hertogenbosch.
I don't know. One thing I really noticed about this place was the bike culture. There were bike lanes everywhere and everyone were riding around on them. Anyway, after spending only 10 minutes walking around the town and the train station, it was time to leave again. Now we drove all the way back to Frankfurt airport, leaving the Netherlands and going through Germany. Of course, since I was in the Netherlands, I had to do a quick solve, again in a random car park. Since this was after the cubing competition, I was feeling pretty fast and my brain was actually working for once. I finished with an 18.51 before continuing the drive. And welcome back to Frankfurt airport. It had been a really eventful and full 12 days when we were in Germany, and including transit, this trip was 2 weeks. I had seen so many things, met so many new people, and of course, cubed a ton. I was both sad and relieved to be finally boarding a plane back home to Australia. We did the usual airport routine: check-in, drop bags, security, and border control. And then of course, I had to do my airport 3x3 solve. And please excuse me for this absolutely horrible framing. I was trying to do something cool with the filming, but then missed the cube entirely and I didn't even check to see if it was good. Well, that was silly. I was still feeling the power of the cubing competition, giving me another sub 20 with a 19.12. On the plane, I somehow got a PB 3x3 solve when being absolutely sleep deprived. I wasn't recording, but go me I guess. It was a 16.13. Oh, and after that, I did my official 3x3 solve for the series, solve number 12. I finished with a really bad 32-second solve. And as we landed into Dubai, it was even more scenic than before as it was nighttime. We saw all the city lights illuminate the area. Honestly, it is such a privilege to see such amazing things and go on such eye-opening trips. This video has had a pretty occurring theme, me getting lost. And trust me, I got lost way more times in this video than I mentioned. We had landed in Terminal C, but had to move to Terminal A. However, we didn't realize this and got really lost. We finally realized that we had to first go to Terminal B and then take a train to Terminal A. It was really hot in the airport, and me, who having going to the Netherlands and a 7-hour flight here, was completely sleep deprived. Trust me, the walk was tiring. We also get raw footage of me complaining. Yay. I'm about to die, oh my god. We're here. Actually, we're not here, we still have like 20 minutes left. Train! Finally, train! That took so long. First half is to find the train station. Second half is to take the train in the right direction without dying. The train was pretty cool too. If you can see, I am a fan of trains. After we got off the train, we were finally at Terminal A as we headed to the lounge. We even got to see this waterfall. Wait, is it a waterfall? I don't even want to think about it. After complaining about fatigue for about 5 minutes, I did Self 13. Again, I could barely keep awake, but I still managed a 21.39 somehow. Anyways, we set out to board the final flight, a 14-hour long-haul flight all the way back to Melbourne Airport. I couldn't believe that this was the final flight before being able to finally sleep in my own room. And solve 14 on the way back to Melbourne was a 29-second solve. Very bad. Again, I have the same excuses as always. Fatigue, lighting, blah blah blah. But anyways, it was still fun to cube even if I wasn't doing very well. The flight was long, but for the first time, I was able to get some decent sleep. After nearly 48 hours without any sleep, this was pretty relieving. The shots I'm showing outside are some of the best window shots I've gotten the entire trip. The clouds were really exotic and of course looked fantastic. And then out the window, we get our first glimpse of Australian land. The first thing I noticed was how flat everything was, as well as the vegetation being much more dry. It's weird to see how desert-like and dry Australia really is after being overseas for so long. And then there we were, in Melbourne Airport, outside in Australian air. Now the sun was really bright and strong, something completely different to Europe. As we got in the taxi and drove back home, it reflected on how truly amazing this trip was. With friends, sport and cubing, life was truly precious and still is. Even if travel can be frustrating or tiring, especially when you get lost or can't sleep, it is an eye-opening experience. Nevertheless, this cube has travelled all around the world. First Australia, the UAE, Germany, France, Luxembourg and the Netherlands. Just like me, this cube has explored new places, towns and people. And that's it. I solved this cube all around the globe. As I show you the last half an hour of footage I got of this trip, I wanted to say thank you so much for watching until the end of this video. Normally when traveling, I take a lot of photos instead of videos, but for this vlog, I made sure to prioritize video so I could show something to you. So, hope you guys enjoyed it. That's it from me, see ya.